I've been pied 3 times now, and the dates haven't even left the chat.
What if I told you by 2030 nearly half of women will be single and childless?
Is nobody talking about the fact that 45% of women are expected to be single by 2030?
Those numbers are becoming a reality each and every day. We're already seeing it happening.
Ladies, never ever split the check with a man on a date.
Where are the good men? I know that you're asking this because you run into so many losers. You're just like,
45% of women ages 25 to 44.
Things are already worse. By that time, it will be a hunt to find good men. Kindly subscribe to the channel as it further supports us in our work. Thank you.
Ladies, never ever split the check with a man on a date. I was just having a discussion with a girlfriend of mine, and she was saying that she always wants to split the check because she never wants the man to expect anything out of her. You do not owe a man anything for buying you dinner, and buying you dinner is the literal bare minimum. A man paying for your dinner does not mean that he gets a ticket to gain access to your bed, okay? No man is ever entitled to your body, no matter what he does for you.
So there was a study that said 45% of women ages 25 to 44 are going to be single by the year 2030. And you already know that a lot of the guys are going to have an absolute heyday with this. Just another reason to hate on women. But before that happens, I want to talk about the reality of that statistic. It actually makes sense because the average age of people getting married for the first time is going up. Life expectancy is going up. The ability to have a child at an older age has grown thanks to science. And just from a mathematical perspective, if every woman between the ages of 25 to 44 got married at the age of 35, that number would be 50%. And this is just yet another tactic to try to scare women into settling for shitty relationships. To me, being single for the rest of my life is actually not something that terrifies me because I am inherently happy with myself. And I'm not willing to jeopardize my peace and my happiness for a simple relationship with a man who does not treat me or love me the way that I love myself. Because men are going to treat women how they want to treat women. Being single is not the worst thing that can ever happen to you.
Well, I disagree. This isn't a tactic to scare women at all into jumping into relationships. The reality is 45% of women will be single by 2030. That's just where things are headed, and there are many reasons why this is happening. For one, more women are prioritizing careers and independence over family, which often delays marriage or pushes it off completely. At the same time, many women hold out for a very specific type of man, usually the top 10 to 20%, while overlooking the average men around them. This hyperselectivity creates an imbalance where the majority of women are competing for the same small pool of men. On top of that, traditional marriage has been declining. Divorce, courts, financial risks for men, and changing gender roles have made men far less eager to commit. She stated that men are going to use this as a way to hate women, but it's the opposite. Many men are actually happy that those women will have that choice because they won't have to deal with them anymore. A lot of men have checked out of the dating scene entirely, not out of hate, but out of peace.
Yeah, I freaking hope so. Because we don't need you. We don't want you. We want more. We want better. We actually want to have orgasms and not be expected to provide food, housekeeping, child rearing, therapy, and a variety of other forms of labor that men expect their partners to perform for them. Yeah, most women will probably be single by 2030, if the world hasn't exploded by then.
Unpopular opinion, okay? I feel like if a man is checking you out, is undressing you with his eyes, he should be charged for that. I feel like he should be charged for that. Honestly, I don't get where all these men get to look at all this beautiful whip free. I think men should be charged. If you're going to be looking that fucking long, sir, then you need to send me some money. Yeah. Send me some money because you're literally enjoying me for free. That's crazy. That's crazy. You say, oh, why should you ask them? Why should they pay? This is capitalism, honey. Well, actually post-capitalism. Let's just be real. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. Okay?
The level of craziness and delusion just keeps rising, doesn't it? Now this woman is proposing that men should be charged for simply staring at so-called beautiful women. Imagine that, turning something as basic and natural as looking into a punishable offense. This is exactly the kind of nonsense that should be added to the list of reasons why men are walking away, and why so many women will end up single by 2030. When women push ideas like this, they're not making themselves more desirable, they're pushing men further away. It creates an atmosphere of fear and resentment where men don't even want to approach, let alone commit. This is why the statistic about 45% of women being single by 2030 makes perfect sense. The culture is actively driving men away, and many men are perfectly fine with that.
If anyone out there was on the fence about marrying me or proposing to me, I just want to share one huge perk. So if we're ever dating and the time comes and you want to propose, you do not have to worry about me getting my nails done because I always have them done. That is not going to be a factor of the surprise. You're not going to have to strategically plan that. I will have my nails done. You can do the rest, but I just want to get that out there if that's the reason why anyone was like holding back from dating me or proposing to me. I get it, but my nails, they're ready for a ring. I'm kidding. I'm not yet.
They are predicting that 40% of women will be single by the year 2030.
Are we really shocked by this though? Because most women and men would rather be in the woods with a bear than a man. Honestly, what I've really noticed is women are starting to put themselves first. They don't want to put up with these pathetic situationships or dating culture, casual sex culture. They want to put themselves first. They have goals and aspirations. They're actually questioning, do I want to have kids or not? And they're okay with questioning it. They're traveling the world. They're doing things that they love. They're making the money. They're providing for themselves. They're happy. They have great friends around them. Like, really, what do we need men for? That's the question. Because even if we wanted to reproduce, we could. We wouldn't have to be in a relationship for it. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense to me that 40% of women will be single. And it's not a negative, it's probably by choice.
Women wouldn't have to be in situationships or casual sex culture if they didn't make it so. That's literally the choice feminism gave them. And apparently, that choice is hurting them. If that's the reason they're supposedly expected to be single by 2030, according to this woman, then they really have themselves to blame because sexual liberation damaged them. Feminism sold women the idea that casual sex was empowerment, that giving themselves away freely without commitment meant freedom. But in reality, it only benefited the small percentage of men who never intended to commit in the first place. And it always amazes me how women will turn around and say, "What do we need men for?" As if men haven't built the very world they live in. From the infrastructure to the technology to the safety they rely on daily, men's contributions are everywhere.
Females don't care about what happens to you financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, unless it directly affects them. If it doesn't directly affect them, they do not care. For females, they never really get that hung up over a guy, losing him, whatever happens to him. Say he gets like his ass kicked in a fight, he ends up in a hospital. She doesn't really care unless it directly affects her. Like if she can't like extract any more like financial resources out of him or emotional resources or mental resources, she's just not going to care, right? If he's no longer doing it for her, she's definitely not going to care what happens to him, right? He could get hit by a bus or a truck, right? As we're out here on Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Strip. She's just not going to give a shit.
Women are just straight up opting out of men, marriage, and babies. 45% of women who are childbearing age will be intentionally single and child-free by 2030, which, if you actually believe that demonstrably false claim that marriage is terrible for dudes, then you should celebrate. Well, the question about whether they're intentionally single and childless by 2030, there's two sides to that coin, right? A lot of women are single and childless at 30 by that point in time because they couldn't find somebody who would actually commit to them because they've done whatever else in their life that they couldn't be acceptable to the kind of man that they want. And they would rather go it alone than to settle.
I've actually said this before and I'll say it again. There are many reasons why this is happening. Many of these women aren't single by choice. In fact, single by choice is often just a coping mechanism. It's a way to save face after they couldn't secure the type of man they really wanted. Or they couldn't get a man to take them seriously and commit, like this man mentioned. The truth is, nobody dreams of being alone. Most of these women wanted marriage, family, and stability at some point. But because of the choices they made in their 20s and early 30s, chasing the wrong men, rejecting the good men, or getting caught up in hookup culture, now they're facing the consequences. Instead of admitting that, it's easier to rebrand singleness as empowerment or a flex. But let's be real, if it was truly a flex, they wouldn't constantly be talking about it, debating it, and trying to convince others that they're happy. You don't have to defend a choice you're genuinely content with.
So women between the ages of 25 and 44 are estimated to be single and childless by 2030. Let that sink in right now. Okay, thoughts? Okay, so Stanley Morgan, a global financial service firm, published a research indicating that in 2030, working women between the ages of 25 and 44 will be single and childless. What are your thoughts on that? I believe it's this hookup culture. I believe it's the fact that we have social atrophy and, there's so much to it. Finances, it's now we have to work twice as hard to get where we need to be. It's just, this economy sucks. So tell me your thoughts.
Oh, the delusions today's modern women live under. They're real, very real. The fact of the matter is that women are ending up alone and childless, not because they want to or are choosing to. Oh no, my friends. The reality that today's modern women are struggling to cope with is the absolute fact that men are walking away, rejecting dating, rejecting relationships, rejecting marriage, and ultimately rejecting them, and all women for that matter. And instead of taking responsibility and acknowledging that it's their toxicity, their never-ending ridiculous expectations and demands, and narcissism that is largely to blame, they come up with drivel like this to help them cope. The bottom line is, men have realized that today's modern women have nothing, literally nothing to offer in a relationship. And it's the real reason why all these women are going to end up sad, bitter, and alone. But hey, my stock in cat food companies is up over 30% just this year. So that's a plus.
Of course, none of these women are ever going to come out and admit that this single by choice narrative is just a coping mechanism, because if they did, it would force them to take accountability. And accountability is the one thing most of them run from. The reality is that delusion, unrealistic standards, and entitlement are the true driving forces behind this. Many women walk around with a laundry list of demands for men, expecting a six-figure income, perfect looks, height requirements, status, and a lifestyle they themselves can't even provide. You hear women say all the time, "I won't settle. If he can't do it, then the next man will." But the harsh reality is, the next man never comes. These women quite literally single themselves out of the dating market. By rejecting, dismissing, and not settling, they thought they were raising their standards, but in reality, they priced themselves out of the very thing they wanted: a long-term committed relationship.
The way our society is built at the moment, and with the structures that are in place, it's very much still built with the traditional framework of needing to find a partner and living your life with that partner. However, the The situation is that by 2030, 45% of women between 30 and 45 are going to be single. And that means that a lot of us are going to be single, at least for a very long time of our life and for a big period of our life. And that means that we have to be the ones that we depend on, which is something that's for some very normal and very natural. And for some, it's something that's out of the comfort zone and out of the story that they've been told and the narratives that they've heard their entire lives, which makes us ill prepared.
How does that look like for you? You live in LA. I feel like it's maybe more difficult. I don't know.
Are you single?
I am single.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then maybe it goes for both of us.
Okay.
But this is so funny because I was actually just talking to my girlfriends about this. This is a very prominent conversation in all of our lives. Is like, I look around and I see beautiful, successful, intelligent, well-rounded, well-grounded, spiritual women who are fantastic, like caretakers, lovers. They're sexy, they're fun, they're adventurous. And I'm like, why are all these girls single? It's like an epidemic of hot, single, successful women. And we haven't been able to like figure it out. And mind you, LA is an extremely tough place to date. This is a known thing. It's very hard to date in Los Angeles for a multitude of reasons. But I found that recently I've been dating casually, and there's different types of men, because when you do have this online persona, when you're beautiful, when you're successful, when you're smart and driven, it can be intimidating and deterring to some men.
Not to men. Not to men, to boys.
Yeah, that part, to the boys, right?
So it's like...
I found that a lot of men, they just get intimidated when you are a successful woman. And it's funny, you can see them look stressed when they know that you don't need them. And it's definitely affected a lot of people's love lives. I can see it around me. And mind you, though, there are a lot of confident men that love it. Like, I'm actually currently saying this very confident man who loves my mindset, my growth mindset, and really values my opinion. And if anything, he's like, let's build this empire together, versus the boy who would be like, oh, like, she doesn't need me. Like, oh, I don't want that. So there is a lot of like differentiation there, but it's very evident.
So I have a question.
Men and women have a very different definition of what a well-rounded, sexy, fantastic woman actually is when it comes to dating seriously. A lot of women judge each other by surface-level traits: looks, fashion, career, independence, or even how many followers they have. So when a woman looks at her friends and says, "Why are these women single? They're flawless, they're perfect," what she really means is, "They look good to me." But men don't think like that when it comes to choosing a long-term partner. Sure, beauty might attract a man, but beauty alone doesn't keep him. Men look at qualities like peace, femininity, cooperation, respect, and loyalty. If a woman is combative, entitled, masculine in her energy, or constantly competing with him, it doesn't matter how sexy she looks, he's not going to commit. That's the disconnect. Women see other women as perfect on the outside, but men see the things that really matter on the inside.